anything to talk about, if there's anything to learn, if there's anything to go over and over again in the Word of God, those are two things: grace and faith. How do we get saved? By grace through faith. How do we get steadfast in the Lord, not in our strength? By grace through faith. How are we sanctified? How are we made holy? How are we prepared for heaven? By grace through faith. How do we become steadfast in the Lord, following the Lord, serving the Lord without looking here and there? By grace through faith. How do we endure persecution, suffering, when we are persecuted, ill-treated, assaulted? By grace through faith. And that is why we're looking at Ephesians chapter 2 verse 8. It says, for by grace are you saved through faith. Isn't that important then? By grace are you saved through faith. Whatever we have, whatever we desire, and how we want our prayers, our requests will be granted by grace through faith. And it says, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. The grace, the provision, the promise, and the things that come from Calvary, that come into our hearts, into our lives, we receive all by grace through faith. So we're looking in depth into receiving and retaining God's grace through living faith, not dead faith. There are three things we're looking at here. Number one is the transforming grace. Grace transforms. There are people that do not understand. Grace transforms. They think grace excuses Adam. They think grace excuses depravity. They think grace excuses our sin. After they say they are saved, they are born again, they say, I'm a sinner by grace. No, nobody is a sinner by grace. Nobody is evil by grace. We don't need to have grace to have evil in our lives. We don't need to have grace to have depravity operating in our hearts. It's grace that makes a change. Grace that transforms. Transforming grace through definite, decisive faith.